Chosen ones, the proven way to turn energy sensitivity into superpower. Most people walk through life feeling the surface of things. They hear words, see actions, and respond like machines repeating inherited patterns. But you, if you're watching this, aren't most people. You feel deeper, you sense things before they happen. You walk into a room and you know when something's off, even if no one says anything. You feel the emotions of others as if they are your own. You can't tolerate fake conversations, loud environments, or dishonesty, not because you're fragile, but because you're tuned in. And while the world may have made you feel like that's a weakness, I'm here to tell you something that will shift your entire reality. Your energy sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your superpower. And once you understand how to use it, everything changes. But let's be honest, before it becomes a gift, it feels like a curse. You probably spent years wondering what was wrong with you, why you felt exhausted after social interactions, even with people you love, why you needed so much time alone to recover, why crowded places made your skin crawl, why you could feel someone's sadness even when they were smiling. You questioned your sanity. You shut down your intuition to survive. You tried to be normal, tried to toughen up, tried to numb it. But no matter how much you tried to fit in, there was a part of you that refused to die. That part is your soul. And it knew something. You were never meant to be like the others. You were born with a different nervous system, a different level of perception, because your mission here required it.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
The chosen ones are not chosen because they are better. They are chosen because they carry keys. Frequency keys, healing keys, activation keys. And the only way those keys become usable is through sensitivity. But the system we live in teaches the opposite. It tells you to harden, to block, to protect. And so we armor up, emotionally, energetically, spiritually. But here's the paradox. The more you protect yourself from energy, the more you disconnect from your power, because your power lives in your openness. Your energy sensitivity is not here to make you weak, it's here to make you wise. And wisdom doesn't come from avoidance, it comes from mastery. So how do we stop being victims of energy and start becoming masters of it? That's where the real journey begins. It starts with awareness. Most people go their entire lives reacting to energy without understanding it. They think they're just in a bad mood or that someone's words triggered them. But you know better. You feel the invisible. You've probably felt things you couldn't explain. Sudden anxiety, waves of grief, moments of euphoria for no reason. That's not random. That's energetic data. And once you learn to interpret that data, you unlock a level of clarity most people can't even imagine. Imagine walking into a room and knowing exactly who is lying, who is hiding pain, who is radiating love, who is watching you with envy, and not being overwhelmed by it, but being empowered by it. Imagine knowing when to speak and when to stay silent, not based on logic, but based on the energetic current of the moment. Imagine being able to tune your own emotional state like a musical instrument, shifting from fear to peace, from confusion to clarity in minutes. That's not a fantasy. That's energy mastery. And it begins when you stop trying to escape your sensitivity and start training it. Let me ask you a question that goes deeper than the surface. What if the emotional chaos you've been trying to fix in your life was never yours to begin with? What if the heaviness, the anxiety, the sadness you've carried for years was data you absorbed, not energy you created? This is the first major realization that awakens a chosen one to their power. We are not just receivers of energy, we are translators of it. And once you start asking, whose energy is this? Everything begins to shift. You stop carrying what isn't yours. You stop reacting. You start reading the field like an oracle. Now, this isn't about superiority or magic tricks. This is about alignment. Once you stop suppressing your sensitivity, your body becomes a tuning fork for truth. You start trusting your gut over the noise of the world. You start recognizing when your energy is being drained, and you learn to choose yourself without guilt. Boundaries become sacred. Silence becomes medicine. Nature becomes your temple. You learn to protect your peace not by shutting down, but by becoming so tuned in that nothing false can stick to you. It's not about avoiding people or hiding from the world. It's about walking into any situation with such a solid energy field that you become the dominant frequency. That's what true energy mastery looks like. You're no longer reactive. You're responsive. You're no longer absorbing chaos, you're transforming it. You become the calm in the storm, the clarity in confusion, the truth in a world built on illusion. And yes, this takes practice, it takes commitment, but the truth is, you've already been practicing your whole life. Every time you felt overwhelmed in a crowd, every time you cried for no reason, every time you sensed a lie behind a smile, you were being trained. You were learning the language of energy. And now the universe is asking, are you ready to stop surviving your gift and start using it? Because here's the secret no one told you. The world needs your sensitivity. It needs your perception. It needs your softness, your depth, your ability to feel, not as a weakness, but as a weapon of light. You were never meant to be numb. You were meant to be awake. And now that you are, your mission begins. The alchemy of energy. How to transmute overwhelm into influence and intuition. There's a sacred art that every energized sensitive soul must eventually learn, or else spend a lifetime drowning in emotions that don't belong to them. That art is energetic alchemy, the ability to take the raw, chaotic data of the world, the heaviness of human emotion, the noise of collective fear, and transmute it into clarity, insight, and even power. Most people never learn this. They either shut down their sensitivity or let it consume them. But if you're a chosen one, the path isn't about escaping your sensitivity, it's about evolving it. You are not here to be overwhelmed. You are here to become an alchemist. Let's speak truth. Being energy sensitive in today's world can feel like walking through a thunderstorm with no umbrella. And the storm isn't just outside, it's inside too. You feel everyone's pain, their projections, their expectations. You're constantly navigating the invisible emotional currents of every room, every conversation. And if you don't know how to work with that energy, it will crush you. But once you do, once you learn how to transmute it, you go from being reactive to directive. You don't just feel energy, you shape it. The first step in this alchemy is self-recognition. You must begin to identify the difference between energy that is yours and energy that you've absorbed. This is where most sensitive souls get lost. They think their anxiety is personal, their sadness is personal, their fear is personal. But often, it's not. It's just energy they're holding for others, unconsciously. So let me ask you something that could unlock everything. When was the last time you paused and asked yourself, is this emotion even mine? That one question can unravel years of unconscious suffering, because once you realize how much of what you feel isn't yours, you begin to step into your sovereignty. You begin to see that you've been like a sponge in an ocean of emotion, absorbing everything, filtering nothing. And now, it's time to stop being a sponge. It's time to become a conduit. Energy is meant to move through you, not into you. You are not a container, you are a channel. And when you start treating yourself like a channel, clearing, grounding, tuning, everything shifts. But transmutation isn't just about releasing energy, it's about transforming it. That's where your real superpower activates. Imagine feeling a wave of fear in your body and, instead of panicking or shutting down, you ask it what it wants to teach you. Imagine walking into a room full of tension and being able to read the emotional climate with such precision that you know exactly how to speak, how to move, how to shift the entire vibe without saying a word. That's not fantasy. That's energetic influence. And it's available to you when you stop fighting your sensitivity and start dancing with it. Here's how the alchemy works in practice. When you feel emotional heaviness, instead of labeling it as bad, pause. Feel it fully. Let it show you the root. Is it grief from the past? Is it someone else's projection? Is it a collective frequency you've tapped into? Once you name it, you gain power over it. Then breathe into it. Visualize it moving through your body like smoke being pulled by light. Let your breath become the fire that burns it clean. And then speak to it. Yes, speak. You are not a passive victim of energy. You are a sovereign soul. Say, I release what is not mine. I bless what is. I transmute this into wisdom. Feel the shift. This is real. It's not imagination. It's intention. And intention is the highest form of energetic command. As you begin to master this, your intuition sharpens, because now your energy field isn't clogged with other people's emotions. You're clear, and in that clarity, your own inner voice rises. You start receiving guidance, not just ideas, but direct downloads. You'll wake up knowing things you didn't study. You'll feel called to go places, meet people, speak messages that are not from your mind, but from your higher self. That's the gift of transmutation. It clears the static so you can hear the signal. And when you're living in signal, when your intuition is leading, you become magnetic. People will start asking you, how did you know that? Why do I feel better around you? How do you stay so calm in chaos? And you won't always have a logical answer, because this power doesn't come from logic. It comes from frequency. You are becoming the calm, the clarity, the healing presence, not by pretending to be spiritual, but by being energetically clean. You've learned to take the darkness and turn it into light. You've become a walking lighthouse in a stormy world. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this alchemy is that it's contagious. Every time you transmute energy, you raise the frequency of your environment. You send out invisible ripples of healing. You activate others just by being in your truth. That's why this path matters. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing the field. You're anchoring the new frequency that this planet so desperately needs. So don't let anyone tell you you're too sensitive. You're not too sensitive. You're finely tuned. You're not too emotional. You're deeply aware. And you're not overwhelmed. You're undertrained. But now you're learning. You're stepping into the alchemy. And soon, you won't just be surviving energy, you'll be commanding it. Becoming the frequency, how to radiate energy that transforms every room you enter. There's a shift that happens on the path of mastery, not when you understand energy, but when you become it. At first, we all try to manage energy, to protect ourselves from it, to shield, to deflect, to interpret, but then something clicks. Something ancient within us remembers. We are not separate from the frequency. We are the frequency. And when you truly embody that truth, everything changes. You no longer just react to the energy in the room. You set it. You don't just protect your peace, you project it. You become a walking vibration, so aligned, so grounded, so clear that your very presence becomes a transformation. You don't have to say a word. People feel you. They don't know why, but something shifts when you arrive. This is not about performance. This is not about pretending to be spiritual or radiating positivity all the time. Becoming the frequency is about embodiment. It's about living in such deep alignment that your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your presence are all tuned to a single coherent vibration. And that vibration is not perfection, it's truth. That's the frequency that transforms. That's the field that heals. When you live from truth, you no longer have to try to inspire people. They are inspired by your being. So, how do we become the frequency? It starts with radical responsibility. You can't embody what you won't own. You must take full ownership of your energy. No more blaming the environment, the people, the past. You are the center of your field. You are the sun of your own solar system. Everything you carry, you emit, and everything you emit, you attract. So if your reality is full of chaos, confusion, or heaviness, the first question isn't, why is this happening to me? It's, what am I radiating? That's the question that breaks the illusion of victimhood and activates the power of creation, because once you realize that everything is frequency, you stop trying to control outcomes and start mastering your state. You realize that the most powerful thing you can do is not fix the world, but become a vibrational match to the world you want to live in. You want peace? Be peace. You want clarity? Be clarity. You want love? Be love. Not in theory, not on Instagram. In your nervous system, in your breath, in your energy field. Now, this doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means feeling them fully and then choosing your frequency consciously. Emotions are information, not identity. You can feel sadness without becoming sadness. You can observe fear without becoming fear. That's what embodiment looks like. It's not bypassing, it's anchoring. It's holding your center no matter what the world throws at you. And when you do that, you become immovable. Not rigid, but rooted. Flexible like a tree in the wind, but never knocked over by the storm. Let me ask you something that might change the way you view your entire life. What if every challenge you've faced, Every moment you thought was breaking you was actually tuning you, like an instrument, tightened and refined until it could vibrate in perfect harmony with truth. What if all the pain wasn't punishment, but preparation? Preparation for the frequency you were meant to carry. Because here's the truth few are willing to speak. The frequency that transforms the world is forged in fire. You don't get it from a retreat. You get it from remembering who you are when everything else falls apart. And when you've remembered, when you've reclaimed your voice, your presence, your energy, you become unshakable. People feel safer around you, not because you're always calm, but because you're always real. You become a mirror for others to see themselves clearly. You become a permission slip for others to drop their masks. You become the lighthouse in a fog of confusion. And the best part, you don't have to do anything. Your frequency is enough. In this state, you begin to attract differently. Opportunities, people, situations, they all start aligning with your field, not your effort. You stop chasing, you stop forcing, you start receiving. Because life responds to your vibration, not your words. Not your resume, not your hustle. Energy doesn't lie. And when your energy is clean, clear, and coherent, the universe moves for you. This is the space where synchronicity becomes normal, where manifestations happen faster, where healing happens deeper, not because you're manipulating reality, but because you're aligned with it. You're not pushing the river, you've become the current. And when you're the current, you can go anywhere. You can do anything. Because you're no longer separate from power, you are power. So, if you've ever felt small, invisible, or powerless in your sensitivity, remember this. The most powerful beings in the world are not the loudest. They are the ones who have mastered their frequency, the ones who walk into a space and shift it without a word, the ones who don't just talk about light, they are light. And that's who you are becoming. The final unlock: how to use energy sensitivity to fulfill your divine mission. This is the moment where it all begins to make sense. The years of feeling different, the emotional overwhelm, the deep intuition you couldn't always explain, the loneliness of sensing more than others could see. It was never random. It was never a flaw. It was initiation. You were never meant to just survive this world. You were meant to shift it. And now, the final unlock is here, to take your energy sensitivity and aim it like a beam of light toward your divine mission. You see, being energy sensitive isn't just about feeling deeply or picking up on vibes. It's about perceiving the invisible architecture of reality. It's sensing where truth lives and where illusion hides. It's detecting the subtle signals that guide you to the right people, the right moments, the right actions. Your nervous system is not broken, it's advanced. You're wired to read the field. And what you do with that ability is what determines whether you live in suffering or in sacred service. So let's go deeper. What is your mission and how does energy guide you to it? First, understand this. Your mission is not a job title, it's not a career path, it's not something you find, it's something you remember. Your mission is the frequency you were born to embody and share. It's the unique energy signature you bring into every space you enter, every relationship you nurture, every word you speak, every silence you hold. When you align with that frequency, You begin to live your mission without even trying. You don't need to chase purpose, it flows from you. Energy sensitivity becomes your compass. It tells you when something is aligned and when it's not. It tells you when to move and when to wait. It whispers when the mind is screaming. But that whisper is sacred, and when you listen to it, you begin to operate from a higher intelligence. You make fewer mistakes, not because you're perfect, but because you're in tune. You're no longer guessing, you're sensing. And that's how you fulfill your divine mission, by moving in rhythm with the energy of your soul. This is where your service becomes supernatural. You walk into a room and your energy speaks before you do. You hold space for someone and they feel heard without a word. You create something, art, words, music, healing, and it carries a resonance that awakens others. You're not just doing things, you're transmitting frequency. That's the mission, to transmit what you are, to let your healed presence become a healing for others, to let your alignment become a recalibration for a world that's lost its center. But here's the key no one tells you. Your mission doesn't begin out there. It begins in here, inside, in how you treat your own energy, in how you speak to yourself when no one is listening, in how you respond to your own emotions, your own pain, your own truth. If you want to lead others into peace, you must first bring peace into your own field. If you want to raise the vibration of the planet, you must first raise the vibration of your own inner world. That is the sacred responsibility of the chosen ones, not to be perfect, but to be in integrity. So, what does this look like in real life? It looks like choosing rest when your energy is drained, even if the world calls you lazy. It looks like saying no when everyone expects a yes, because your soul whispers that it's not aligned. It looks like trusting your intuition when logic disagrees, but your body knows what's real. It looks like walking away from what drains you and walking toward what lights you up. Even if no one else understands, because you understand, and that's enough. You were chosen not to follow the path, but to be the path, to walk it first, to feel it fully, to embody it so deeply that others remember their own light just by being near yours. That's the mission. And now, you're ready. You've felt enough. You've healed enough. You've remembered enough. Now it's time to become what you came here to be. You are the frequency. You are the key. You are the mission.